A man, Tobias, is taking his daughter Nora to see the troll. It has been told that 13 trolls gather for a wedding but get drunk and become mountains. Nora says she is too old for such fairy tales, and her father says she has to believe them if she wants to see them. About 20 years later, Nora is now an archaeologist. She and her team go to the Atlantic coast of northwestern Norway, but they are ready to quit the project after finding nothing in 6 months, but she keeps pushing and finds a dinosaur skull. Meanwhile, at Dove Mountain, a group is building a railway by digging the mountain despite warnings from activists. They activate their explosives, but a creature growls in the mountain and kills most of the workers. Following the shocking event, the Norwegian forces send an aircraft to investigate. Sigrid, who is in charge of the camera, shows the bosses footage that forces them to inform the Prime Minister, Barrett. After checking the evidence, Barrett's advisor says it looks like footprints. Barrett instructs that the issue should be kept from the press and investigated further. Later, Andreas, working on Barrett's order, handpicks Nora to a secret meeting where they discuss the cause of the incident. They consider what could be the cause, assuming it's sinkholes, pocket and many more. Nora suggests that it may be a beast because of the footstep. Sigrid, the phone of one of the activists which she had hacked, and they see the direct video of what had happened, including the roaring sound, the shadow, and the huge humanoid shape. On the other hand, in Lesia, a couple wonders why their dog won't stop barking, and their house starts shaking too. The couple hides, and when they come out, they see their house destroyed, but the dog is fine. At the meeting, Nora is made the official scientific advisor, and she is to go with Andreas to Lesia to check on the incident. They arrive at their destination, and they are surprised at the damage to the landscape. They are welcomed by Captain Christopher, who tells them the soldiers have done a full sweep but can't find any proof. However, it was revealed that they heard a loud howling. While taking a closer look at the damage, Nora notices a strong smell, which she calls hypernature. She looks for biological traces but finds none. She goes to the place where the track stops and finds no sign of life except a mountain. She wonders if the mountain is a camouflage since the creature can't disappear. Although filled with several theories, Nora can't find an answer, so she visits her father. She enters the house and sees the house filled with clips about the troll. She stops him from talking about it and asks him to check her footage. He tells her it shows his theory is true, but she still doesn't believe him. He asks to join the investigation so he will find out more. He goes to where the track stopped and notices the topography is wrong and doesn't match the map. He also sees the trip as one where he can bond with Nora again, but Nora isn't interested in all that. Suddenly, the sky darkens, and the mountain opens an eye. It turns out to be a troll. Its ability to camouflage allows him to pretend to be part of the mountain. It shows its mighty body and roars at them. The rest of the team runs to the helicopter, although they get the troll on camera. Christopher takes the group to his camp and informs the base of their discovery. Nora keeps using the word unknown creature, but Tobias says it's a troll, and it appears to stop the construction. They prepare for a military operation, and Nora is angry at her father. She wishes to leave, but Tobias tells her the troll will push back. He says the troll has just woken, and it's scared, so weapons will make it angrier. Realizing that her father is right, Nora stays back. Christopher accepts to take them and hide them in his helicopter, provided they follow his order. At night, while they wait for the troll to appear, Tobias and Nora remember the old fairy tales they used to share during their adventures, and the two of them finally reconcile. Moments later, the troll shows up, but when he gets close enough, he stops moving, and Tobias knows that the creature knows they are there. The soldiers open fire on the troll, ignoring Tobias' warnings that it'll only make him angry, but the bullets and the explosions do nothing and only cause it to attack back, just like Tobias predicted. Everyone runs away as the troll destroys everything in its path, including the cameras that are transmitting the operation to the main base. The team hides behind a tree with a wounded soldier, and just as they are about to move away, the troll reaches down and grabs the soldier to eat it. Tobias explains the troll probably smelled the blood from the soldier's wounds. Nora, Andreas, and Christopher want to run away, but Tobias decides to approach the troll and try a friendly approach. To everyone's shock, the troll actually stops moving and answers Tobias' gentle words with peaceful groans, but unfortunately not all the soldiers understood the message. A truck opens fire on the troll again, and the creature turns around to counterattack, but it accidentally hits Tobias in the process. As the troll walks away, Nora rushes to her father's side, and Tobias mumbles the words "the palace, the king, home," asking his daughter to remember to believe before he dies. After returning to base, Nora keeps herself busy looking over Tobias' research to forget the pain and look for a solution. Andreas and Christopher come to check on her and they inform her they've lost sight of the troll for now, but the army is getting ready for an airstrike. Nora thinks this attack will have the same result as the first one, meaning they need to think outside the box. The fairy tales say trolls don't like sunlight, but they've seen this one come out in daylight. The other clue they have is Tobias' mention of how the trolls were destroyed by the Christianization of Norway, which gives Nora an idea. They contact Barrett and the others to explain that stories say trolls used to throw boulders at churches when they heard the bells, which means bells are what they need to use. The leaders think this is ridiculous, so Christopher has to cut in to remind them nothing has worked so far and they need alternatives. Thus Barrett reluctantly permits them to carry on the plan. The troll reappears, heading closer to the Hunderfossen family park and causes panic among the crowd. Everyone begins running away except for a little girl that wants to watch the creature. Christopher and Nora show up in a helicopter, guiding a whole hover that is carrying giant bells. They surround the troll with these bells as they make them ring, and Nora turns out to be right. The sound does hurt the troll's ears. However, the troll doesn't hesitate to attack to defend himself, hitting the helicopters and causing them to crash. Just as one of the choppers is about to fall on top of the little girl, the troll surprisingly grabs the helicopter to save her before it walks away. However, due to the place being public, the whole world now knows about it and the fact it's making its way to the capital city. Newscasts from every country cover the incident and phone-recorded clips go viral on social media. The team returns to the base. A furious Barrett ignores Nora when she points out the bells did work, so they should try again from a different angle, and kicks her out of the base. On her way out, Nora bumps into Christopher, who confesses he thinks Barrett is making a mistake and he will be there for Nora if she ever needs anything. In the conference room, the military leaders tell Barrett about some dangerous missiles that haven't been approved yet. Barrett can't believe she didn't know about this, and Andreas points out that such weapons shouldn't even be considered, but this only gets him kicked out of the room. Seeing as he won't be taken seriously, he decides to quit and rejoin Nora on his way out, telling her to get ready because they're evacuating the city. Moments later, Barrett appears on TV officially announcing a state of emergency and asks all the citizens to collaborate as their soldiers take over to prepare for the next operation and help them evacuate without issues. Meanwhile, Nora and Andreas are stuck in traffic, prompting Nora to keep looking at Tobias' research. The pages keep mentioning Sinding and something about a gatekeeper, which prompts Andreas to comment it could be Rickard Sinding, the Lord Chamberlain at the Royal Palace. Nora suddenly remembers Tobias mentioning King Palace home before his death, and reaches the conclusion they need to go to the Royal Palace. Andreas drives them there and they are stopped by the guards at the gate, but Sinding immediately comes to let them in because he expected Tobias or someone related to him to show up sooner or later. Sinding explains he respected Tobias, even if Tobias hated him, and his stubbornness granted him access to the secret beneath the palace. Once upon a time, it was considered good luck to build a palace on top of another king's home, and it turns out this particular palace has been built where the Troll King used to live. Nora and Andreas are taken to a tunnel full of troll bones as Sinding explains that the Christianization of Norway killed everything that went against their faith. They ambushed the royal troll family and only spared one baby to lure the king into the mountain. There, they locked it inside a cavern and left it for dead. 12 years ago, Tobias found out about all this and Sinding sent him to the loony bin to guard the secret. He feels bad about that, but still considers it the right thing to do, which makes Nora furious. Nora realizes Tobias was right. The Troll King is coming home to the palace and they need to stop it. While looking around the bones, Nora notices her UV light is damaging them, which means the stories were right about sunlight after all. They've seen the troll out during the day, but they haven't seen it under direct sunlight because of the clouds and the mountains. Andreas points out they can't control the sun, but Nora has a plan, and she calls Christopher to get his help as he will put a special trap while Nora and Andreas lure the troll. Meanwhile, the troll has arrived at the city, and once again the military attacks do nothing to it. So Barrett approves the use of the missiles. Sigrid notices the leaders are getting ready to launch those missiles and calls Andreas to warn him, which means they need to find a way to buy time. Andreas asks Sigrid to try to hack into the army's system to stop the launching while Christopher is ringing the alarm system all over the city. This brings all his soldier friends to his location to help him with the trap. Sinding helps as well, asking the guards to put one of the troll's skulls on the biggest truck they have, which Nora and Andreas will drive around the city to lure the troll away from the palace. It takes Sigrid a few tries to get into the system, but once she's in, she immediately stops the missiles, giving Nora and Andreas the time they need. When the troll comes closer, they finally take off and reveal the skull on the back of the truck, which causes the troll to roar in anger and go after them as planned. Nora calls Christopher to tell him they're on their way, prompting him to offer a motivational speech to his soldiers to keep them brave when the monster finally appears. After lots of crazy driving through the streets of Oslo, Nora and Andreas reach the highway only to accidentally lose the skull in the process. The troll stops running to pick it up, letting out a painful grieving groan for its children before it notices its reflection on a building and it tries to touch the glass, but it breaks and the sudden shattering noise startles the troll, causing it to accidentally drop the skull, which breaks into a million pieces. Furious, the troll roars in pain, making Nora feel how sad it is over being the last of its kind. The creature comes after them for revenge and Nora goes back to the original plan of driving away, dodging preventing all the destruction that the monster is causing. At the base, Sigrid's hacking is discovered and her computer is taken away so they can restart the system. Seconds later, Nora and Andreas make it to the area with the trap, so they jump out of the truck to finish luring the troll right to the center as it steps on the vehicle. The troll tries to step on Nora next, but at that moment, the soldiers activate dozens of UV lights that surround the creature and start burning it. The plane with the missiles is coming closer too, but the pilot hesitates when he sees civilians on site. An argument begins at the base to see if they should abort or not, inspiring Sigrid to punch the idiot that doesn't care about his citizens, and the operation is effectively aborted. Barrett and the other people at the base watch on their screen how the troll is slowly dying, and Christopher's soldiers are already celebrating the victory. However, Nora can't stand hearing and seeing a life suffer like this and turns off the power to save it. The soldiers get ready to shoot, but Nora stops them too before approaching the troll the same way her father did, gently asking it to go back to the safety of the mountains. The troll stares at her, considering her words, but before it can react, the sun begins to rise and it burns the troll until there's nothing left but rubble. As everyone basks in their victory, Andreas jokes about what they should call this new monument or hill, and Nora decides it shall be the Tobias Boulder. The Prime Minister thanks Nora for her work and Andreas reminds the Prime Minister that he quit and announces he'll be a writer. Before walking away with Nora, he wonders if there may be more creatures hidden in Dovra. Meanwhile, deep in the mountains, something is starting to move. Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe to my channel to get notified when we post the next recap.